Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today, new plant, but before I start speaking, I have some questions for you. How would you like to have a plant that never needs repotting, can adapt to a wide range of light, can be put in a weekly watering schedule, never needs fertilizer, does well in a high or low humidity, and produces a large colored flower that lasts for 2 to 6 months? Well, there is such a plant, and it's called Bromeliad or Guzmania. So, in this video, I will explain everything you need to know, which includes basic info about the plant, light requirements, water requirements, fertilizer, humidity, temperature, and information after the flower dies. Now, the basic information. Bromeliads are monocarpic. That means they produce only a single flower before they die. However, that single flower is very long lasting and the plant's demise is a slow one, often taking up to 3 years. During that time, 1 to 3 offsets called babies or pups are produced to carry on the species. For best results and to prolong the flower duration, keep your plant on the north or east window where it will get lots of bright, mostly indirect light. However, if you would like to enjoy your bromeliad more if it were placed in the center of a living room and far from the window, then you can do that, although the flower may only last for 2 months in a low light. If your bromeliad is properly potted and in a good light, a weekly watering will be just right for it. In a low light, watering every 2 weeks is more appropriate, but because of its unusual roots, the soil should be quite dry, deep in a pot before watering. This plant will survive drought, but it will not survive waterlogged soil and roots. If your tap water is on the hard side, then you should use only filtered, distilled or rainwater to water and mist your bromeliads. Now let's talk about fertilizer, humidity and the temperature. Bromeliads are slow growers and use very little nutrients. At most, your bromeliads should be fertilized no more than every 2 months with a fertilizer diluted to half strength. It will not suffer if you never fertilize. Although bromeliads grow naturally in warm, humid climates, they are surprisingly adaptable to a dry indoor air as long as the soil and the roots are watered properly. Misting and using humidity trays will do no harm, but they are really not necessary in a dry climates. Bromeliads do not tolerate cold temperature very well. However, this is not a problem in most homes where temperatures are kept above 16 degrees. If you move your plants outside in the summer, it's best to move your bromeliads back inside in the fall when the high temperature start to fall below 16 degree. Now, potting. In nature, most bromeliads grow in high places where their roots are surrounded by the circulating air, but these regions are also bathed daily with warm rain and high humidity. That tells us that the roots must be potted in a very porous potting mix that will retain some moisture but also keep air around the roots. However, the more common flowering bromeliads are usually sold in a small 5 to 6 inch pots filled with a porous potting mix that contains a lot of moss, coarse bark, chips and perlite. Because bromeliads' root system are small and fine, they do not need repotting. Never put a bromelia in a standard solid base potting mix. Now, let's talk about after the flower dies. No flower lives forever, but bromelia flowers are the longest lasting among all the houseplants. Somewhere in a 2 to 6 month period, your bromelia flower will start to get dry and brown like this. Now, let me show you. Okay. This happens slowly, starting at the top of the flower. Okay, top of the flower, and working its way down over the course of several weeks. This is completely normal, so don't feel you have done something wrong and don't try to fix it. When the flower no longer looks attractive, simply cut it off and its base and discard it. Okay, as you can see, it's coming from the top down. Okay, after the flower has died, you will be left with a handsome foliage plant, at least for a while. Continue to care for it as you have while it was in flower, although providing lots of bright indirect sunlight is important now. You will notice two things. First, you will see new plants emerging from the soil along the side of original plant. Now let's see that. Okay, this is the main plant. Okay, the main plant. Now this here, let me show you this one. Now see, this is the new plant, and another side, it's also here, it's also here. This is also the new plant. So there are two. These babies plant are called offset or pups. Second, you will notice at some point that the leaves of original plant are starting to die back. This is also part of a normal life cycle of a bromelia. As the original or the mother plants gradually dies, new plants emerge to carry on a species. The dying of original plant is often a very slow process, taking a year or even longer, but it is inevitable. Accept this mother plant, die back, and simply remove unattractive leaves as they discolor. At some point, you will want to remove all of the faded leaves from the mother plant. During this time, your focus should be on the health of a pups, not on a dying of a mother. If the pups are healthy looking, then you are providing proper care. So to recap, just remove this plant. At some point I will remove this mother plant stem all the way along down there, and there are two pups, one here and one here, will carry on the species. So that's all for this video. I hope you like it, and please hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thank you.